Okay, this recording is about creating good part templates, and I provided a slideshow already, a PowerPoint that I posted online that I want you to refer to, and you can take a look at this. I'm not going to cover the file locations for the templates folder. At this point, I'm going to do a separate recording for that, so I'm just going to focus on creating the part template file, and a couple points about that as we go through that. And one thing that's universally agreed upon by just about everyone is that it's essential that you use good part templates in any organization, or even just by yourself, to save yourself extra work, be able to collaborate more easily with other people, and create get things done quicker. And there's a lot of different things you can do with it. We're going to do a very basic template here for what we're going to be working with, but what I provided you with are several links to other sources that you should check out that also tell you different things about creating templates and why and what you can take advantage of there. You go to work somewhere and they don't use templates. Normally they'll enforce a template for everybody to use, but if they do, then you may have some suggestions to help improve what they're using, or if they don't, you can be a hero and help them get on the right track and start taking advantage of that. And there's many benefits for organizations for doing that. So anyways, take advantage. Look at these links. This is just the first one. Is just to the online SolidWorks help file. You should all look at that and get used to reading help files. Yes, all of the SolidWorks help files are online. And then these other ones are all ones from either SolidWorks resellers like Javelin, Trimec, Cockroach Systems, or from general websites like engineersrule.com or cadbooster.com. And a couple of these articles are well worth watching. A couple of them are videos online. So definitely you want to take advantage of those and take a look at them. And we're just going to do the bare bones essentials here. And I'd like you to use what I'm showing you here as an alternative to what Chapter 5 starts out with in terms of making a part template. So we'll create an inch template, and then we're going to turn it into a metric template. And that's how we're going to proceed. So first thing is, I've created, just for simplicity's sake, I've created on a USB I have on this computer a folder for my templates, and I just called it templates and put my name in it, or initials, what you want to do with that. So I'm going to, before I do anything else, I'm going to go into SolidWorks, and I'm going to add that file location to the system options. So I go to the options up here and go to system properties, what comes up by default. I'm going to go to file locations. By default, it's on document templates, but I'm going to go add, and I'm going to go to that USB that I've got loaded and pick up that folder, and then just do select folder. If I double clicked on it, it would put me down in it, and then I'd still just click select folder. There's nothing in it, and I could click on it and move it to the top if I like. But keep in mind there is nothing in it right at this point. So I'm going to click OK. Say yes. Go on and say yes one more time. Now I'm ready to go. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and create a new part, and this is the new part button up here. I can just click right on it. If you start out and the interface looks like this, I want you to go to the advanced display. You'll notice here it's just got the default templates and the tutorial templates. It doesn't show the folder I just added because I don't have any templates in it. So I'm going to start out with the default part template, and I'm going to change just a few things in this to make it work for this. And so I'm going to go back up here to options, and I'm going to change go to general, to document properties, I should say. Sure that it says ANSI. I'm going to tell it all uppercase for notes and tables too, just to get used to having that there. And then I'm going to go on, and we got the drafting standard ANSI. I'm going to go to detailing, and I'm going to click this shaded cosmetic threads. I want you all to make sure you click on that one, and that will show cosmetic threads when we use the whole wizard and a couple other things we're going to start using it very early in the chapter 5. So Next thing we're going to go to is units, and this is the most important one. So we're going to make sure it says IPS, and under length, when we click in this box, we can click the little arrow there for the pull down, and make sure that's just 3 decimal places. And that doesn't change the precision or accuracy, anything of what we got here. All that does is change what it displays. And so likewise here, we're going to go under where it says mass and section properties, and we're going to go to 3 decimal places there. Now, a lot of times I'll go in here for degrees and I'll scroll it up to none, just because I rarely entered fractions of degrees, but that's a personal preference. There's many other settings you could change here, but those are the primary ones I want you to change. Now, I can also go to document properties and add a couple different settings for document properties, and these are custom properties that would show up in a bill of materials or on a drawing format. And I'm just going to do a couple of them. You click on right next to the options. We're going to go to custom properties, the tab here, and then when we click in the first box, there's a little pull down on the right. We're going to click that pull down, and it says description, the very first one. We're going to click on that. Now over in the value description, or its text expression, we're going to type in, I'll use all caps on this as well, and I'm going to call it Stu's. You want to put your own name obviously in here, or whatever you like in here. This is my Stu's ANSI inch, and this obviously you would change anytime you create a new part, but that's what it'll be in there the first time you do it. Now for the second one, I'm going to add one in here for material. Click on material. Again, this would be something that would fill out a title block in a drawing for you, or in a bill of materials table if you did an assembly. And in this case, rather than typing something in, I'm just going to click on material. And I could go in and fill out several other ones here, but these are a bunch of default ones, and you can create your own. I'm going to put in finish because that's something we generally put in as well. And for that, I'm going to put an N/A for not applicable. In other words, I don't know if it has a finish not or anything on that, so I just do that, and then I click OK. And those will show up, in fact, in File Explorer, even if you're searching the documents for it. So those are the main things that I've changed in this part. And I've got a couple other things I could change. I might want to check. And that gives me a message. No, I don't want to mess with that one. Let's make sure that these are. Make sure that none of these things are clicked, and it would notice. You'd notice because it would look like this. So make sure that none of these 4 options are selected, so that those are all clean. And then we're going to do one more thing, and we're going to create 3 axes in here. And these are just issue modeling things, and much better when you're doing assembly operations. And this step isn't essential, but it's a neat trick, and you can use them for a lot of things, even in modeling. So I'm going to go to Features, and I'm going to go to Reference Geometry, go to Axis, and I'm going to click 2 planes, and I'm going to click the front plane and the top plane, and say OK. And that one I'm going to click on and hit F2. Oh, it's already in rename. I'm going to call that the X axis. I'm going to do that 2 more times. So again, reference geometry, axis. Something I would do all the time, so I'm saving myself the trouble later on. But this gives me the consistency that I'd like to have, and I'm working with. So again, I can go back here and pull down the flyout feature manager, clicking on that. In this case, I want to do the front plane and the right plane, and that gives me the y-axis. So again, I'm going to rename that one there, y-axis. And then I'm going to do it one more time. 2 planes. The flyout feature manager here, you can click on this and it will show it when you're in a property manager like we are there. And I can click in this place. I'm going to take the right plane and the top plane, and that will give me the z-axis. And rename name it to Z-axis. I'm clicking on the name and then hitting F2 on the keyboard so I can get it to go. Oh, come on there. Or you can double click on it. Oh, come on now. Y-axis or Z-axis. And that's that. And now I'm basically done with creating this. Now what I want to do is hide all of these. So I'm going to click on each one, hit the little eye there with the slash through it so it's no longer displaying. And I'm going to do one last thing. I'm going to turn the display of the origin on. And that's underneath this eye. You click on the very right side of it. There's a pull down. And that's this guy right here. Oh, I want to make sure things like the relations are showing. Some of these other things you may want to turn on or off. But there's many document properties, and we could spend more time on that going forward. But now that's all done, but I'm still in a part. Now I'm going to do a file and a save as. And the first thing I have to do when I do the save as, I have to change the file type to part template, which is right down there. It's a PRT dot file. And you'll notice, what does it do? It automatically shifts to my templates folder that I've already set. If you haven't already done that, it'll go to the system folder location. I don't want to put it there. Notice it's got the description in there already as well. And I'm going to call this ANSI inch or IPS. Either one makes sense to you. I just put inch. Part. And this is a part template, and there are reasons you'd like to have the name word part or drawing or whatever in there so you know what type of template it is. And then I'm going to put my name in the end of it. And then save. And then I'm going to close it. Now you notice up here it says I'm editing a template. Do not start working on this or ever open this up when you see that PRT dot up at the top and start trying to make a new part unless you resave it immediately as a part file. I'm going to just close it in the proper way now to create a new part. Is just click on File and New, or click on the New button right there. And again, if it comes up with this interface, you want to make sure you go to Advanced. And now my templates folder will show. And it's got my folder in there, and I can just double click on it. And there we go. Now I can go in and set system options for file locations and other things like that. I'll do that in a separate recording. But notice now I'm editing a part, and that's what you want to be looking at your work on. There's the axes there. I can pick them to work with. I also am showing the origin. When I click on them, they display, but they're still hidden all the time otherwise. So we can use those for a lot of different construction operations. And that's it. So get that done. That replaces about the first 40 steps in the Chapter 5 tutorial.